So, you're thinking of moving right here to Katy, Texas? Well, sit right there because in today's video, we're gonna sit down and we're gonna tell you all the pros and all the cons of living right here in Katy, Texas. Let's get after it right now. Cheers.
Cheers, man.
So if this is your first time to the channel and you guys want to know everything there is to know about Katy, Texas, then subscribe to the channel, tap that bell for notifications. That way you guys can be the first to know about everything going on here in Houston or Katy, Texas. My name's Kyler Ferris. This is Mike Gorman.
Howdy.
And we get calls, texts, and emails every single day from people that are watching our videos online, trying to figure out if Katy or other Houston suburbs are the right place for them. So if you're looking to move here in a day, a week, a month, a year, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email, and that way we can help you guys make a smooth move here to Katy, Texas. So we're gonna get right into it right now. We are up here at Ambrisa, which is actually one of Mike's favorite spots. Mike lives in Katy, and so I'm gonna let him start with, Mike, what is your favorite part about living in Katy? What would you say is the biggest pro, and why do you live here?
Well, besides these margaritas, I would say just the home feeling of all these neighborhoods, and just having homes that are huge, that you have all these things you can do around the neighborhoods. And
so like livable square footage, affordability, access to places like this to just come up and...
Yeah, this is a 5-minute drive from my house. I'm bored on a Tuesday at 2 o'clock.
Grab some
a margarita. Yeah.
Very cool. All right, and then tell them, I know everybody's probably wondering, one of the biggest pros here in Katy is gonna be the schools.
Absolutely. So Katy, I think 85% of Katy schools are A+ rated. And on niche.com, they're the #1 in the whole Houston area. And actually, I think number 13 rated overall in the whole state of Texas.
Yeah.
And so whether you have kids or plan on having kids or not, it's always a great investment to buy a home in a top-rated school district such as Katy. And that's the reason why we ended up buying here. And
you don't even have kids yet.
And I don't even have kids.
Yeah.
We don't even know if we're having kids.
Yeah, there you go.
But we are going to have a house in a top-rated school district.
Yeah, and that's going to help with resale all day long. You're going to see probably the largest influx of people moving to the Houston area are going to settle on Katy or the Woodlands, and both of them arguably have the best schools. Katy just slightly beat them in the rankings, and so there are 8 high schools right here in Katy, Texas. If you're interested in high school football or you have kids that really want to play Texas high school football, it doesn't get any better in the Houston area than Katy High School. How many state championships have they won?
So in the last 20 years, Katy High School has made 10 appearances in the state championship, and they've won 7 of them.
Okay.
So Coach Joseph knows what he's doing.
Those are some serious stats.
I don't know what the Woodland stats are like.
They're not as good.
But Katy
good
High School knows how to play some football. And they've got a $71 million stadium that all the Katy High Schools get to use. And so, I mean, Texas is known for its high school football, and Katy is no different.
No joke. Yeah, it's one of the best programs in the state. And it's not all about football here in Texas. I would say, especially Katy ISD as a whole, it's going to have great athletics, great extracurriculars. Most of the high schools in the Katy ISD school district, they're 6A high schools, and we explain this in a lot of our videos, but a 6A high school is any high school with over 2,250 students, I believe. And so these are big high schools, and while that might seem overwhelming, it also provides a lot of opportunity. It also increases the likelihood of your kids being able to rank in the top 10% of their graduating class. So something you might not know, but here in Texas, if you're in the top 10% of your graduating class, you get automatic acceptance to any state university. So that's going to include Texas A&M University, University of Texas, and really plenty others. And so, is it UTSA as well?
I believe so.
It's a state school, there we go.
Yeah.
So both of our alma maters, if you're in the top 10%, you get automatic acceptance. So it's gonna save a lot of stress if you got a high school kid when it comes to applying for colleges. All right, I'm gonna tee you up for this one. What is your personal pet peeve about Katy? What's your biggest con here?
There's no cons in Katy. No, I'm just kidding. Oh man, so I would say first on my mind would be traffic.
Okay.
So one of the pros of Katy is all the new home construction. And with that new home construction, we've seen tons of families moving here. And so the infrastructure hasn't really caught up yet. So like leading into a lot of these big neighborhoods, you're gonna see a lot of just 2-lane roads, one way each way.
Do those back up a ton at like 5 o'clock when everybody's coming home?
So during rush hour times or school pickups and drop off times, you're gonna see a lot of lines in a lot of these areas that are just one way each way. And then of course, if you're commuting to downtown, commuting to the energy corridor, no problem. But if you're going to downtown, leaving between 6 and 8 a.m., it's going to take you an hour most days, no matter whether you're using I-10 or West Park.
And what are their options here? So you've got I-10, which kind of runs right through Katy.
Yeah, so Katy's kind of like at least where we're at right now, it's like a sandwich between West Park and I-10 with 99 running up vertically in between them. And so a lot of people around here use 99 to get to either highway.
And then from there, they can jet into Houston or get wherever they want
which
to go.
99 runs all the way up to past the Woodlands, up connects to 45. So you can take that to Dallas, essentially.
So the traffic sucks. There was one other that you told me that you hated here. It's your cell phone.
Yes.
Walk them through that.
It could just be me.
It might be.
It very well could just be me. So don't cut me off, cell phone service provider. But there are a lot of dead zones around the Katy area.
Yeah.
And part of that could just be similar to the infrastructure, like the cell phone towers haven't quite caught up yet.
And there's a lot of people
moving
in
here.
Katy.
Yep. So there's definitely areas where you cannot make a phone call. I'll be on the phone with someone and I hear suddenly, hello, are you there? And I know it's going to happen every time I hit that spot. So it's important, especially if you don't know the area, if you're at a home, number one, turn Wi-Fi calling on. You're going to be very dependent on Wi-Fi in the Katy area. And number two, if you're routing somewhere on your GPS, it's always important
Preload
to
it.
route it out at home
Yeah.
and then have it set up for you.
Yeah. Otherwise you end up lost.
But hopefully maybe this video will cause more cell phone companies to put up some more towers out here.
Hope so. All right, so let's talk about a couple pros. So I think one of the biggest pros that I get the most from people that are wanting to move to Katy, people reaching out to us, I think the biggest like attractant is you kind of already hit on it, but it's the combination of everything Katy has to offer, the amenities and all that, which we cover in our vlog. So if you haven't watched that, check out our vlog. I mean, we go into detail on all the amenities here in Katy, but let's talk about new construction. So the Woodlands and Katy get compared to each other a lot because they're the two suburbs of Houston that I would say have the most to offer, and they kind of battle it out. But they're in different locations. They have, and they're also geographically different. But the one thing that Katy has an edge on the Woodlands, hands down, is new construction. And so the Woodlands is all one big master planned community. Katy isn't. Katy's a city, and within the city, they've got all these different master planned neighborhoods that are popping up. And so, whenever you reach out to us, and we partner you with a member of our team to start looking at houses, it might even be Mike. Chances are you're going to be looking in these master planned neighborhoods, and you're going to get options. One of the older master planned neighborhoods is Cinco Ranch, and they've got 16,000 homes just in Cinco Ranch. And when did it start? Like the 90s?
1992, I believe.
So in Cinco Ranch, it's actually built out. It's really well developed. And you're going to have more established trees, and you're going to have resale home opportunities. And it'll feel not like the Woodlands necessarily, but there are established trees. But in these newer master plan neighborhoods, you're going to get crazy cool water parks, water slides with restaurants in the neighborhoods, gyms. It doesn't get much better than the amenities that these master plan neighborhoods have to offer. And you can get a new house. You can get a home with a new home warranty. And then one thing that I really want to highlight is the benefits of buying new construction when you're watching this video from California or New York or wherever you're watching from is the fact that you can time out your move a lot better if you're under contract on new construction. So for example, if you reach out to us and you say, hey, we need to be moved in the next 6 months, well, instead of waiting 5 months and then coming here on one weekend, to fight over resale homes
with multiple offers,
maybe not getting them or having to hop on last minute flights. You can come into town, we can meet with builders in the areas and the price range that works best for you, and then you can sign a contract then, and then we'll just send you updates as your house is getting built, and then you can time out the sale of your property wherever you're coming from. So it just makes it a lot smoother. Nobody's ever lived in the home, and it's just a turnkey experience. You get that home warranty, so for the first year, anything that goes wrong, it's covered. And so I think that's a highlight, a huge pro of Katy, and it doesn't seem to be ending. You know, everywhere we look here in Katy, there's a new master plan neighborhood.
Absolutely, yeah. They're building houses every day, so there's no stop to that. Some of our big master plan communities there's one that's just started called Sunterra that's gonna have like a 3.5 acre crystal lagoon in the neighborhood, like a beach-style resort lagoon.
We'll need to throw up a clip so like to give people an idea of what we're talking about, because most people are like, they wouldn't do that in a neighborhood. But
yeah.
It's pretty crazy what some of these master plan neighborhoods are doing to attract people like yourselves, people that want a different quality of life from wherever they're watching from, and they move here, and Katy seems to top the list for, you know, amenities. And
I feel like the developers that are making these master plan communities are doing it with the thought in mind, like, let's just put everything someone would need if they're moving here, right here in this neighborhood or in some commercial development right outside it, to where you don't even have to leave your neighborhood.
Yeah, and even, you know, even some of the schools, which we show in our vlog, are built in the neighborhood. So quite literally, you could just hunker down in your neighborhood. I'm not saying you want to, but you could.
If your house is nice enough, you might not want to leave.
Yeah, and so where to go from here? Because I got a pros and cons. We'll hit on both. So pros of Katy, I would say location is a good location overall. You because you're in between some of these freeways, you've got different options. I-10 is, I think, the biggest freeway in the country that runs all the way from Florida to California, and it just runs right through Katy, and it's a straight shot to San Antonio. If you want to go to San Antonio for the weekend, see the Alamo, go to SeaWorld.
It's like a 2-hour drive.
Maybe
to Austin,
did SeaWorld get canceled? I think SeaWorld got canceled.
Did they?
Don't go to SeaWorld.
Don't do it.
They've got other stuff in San Antonio to check out. And then you can go to Austin too. Austin's maybe 2.5 hours, 2 hours, 15 minutes if you drive like me. So anyways, so it's a good location overall for Katy. The cons though are, you know, going off of staying in your big house here in Katy, is it's hot. We hit on that in every video. Every single suburb is going to be pretty equally hot.
Yeah.
I will make the distinction that, you know, the closer you are to water, the more humid it gets. It is not humid here all year round. That is a misconception. It only happens to be humid when our clients fly in.
Yep.
So
when they leave?
Yeah, and then they leave and the weather's perfect again. So no, it's humid here I'd say about 4.5 to 5 months a year. And then the rest of the year you get seasons. You get 2 months of spring, 2 months of fall, 3 months of winter, and then 5 months of summer, roughly.
Yep.
And so you get all the seasons. So if you're coming from somewhere cold up north, maybe that's a huge pro. We might get snow in the Houston area once about every 5 years. And it's not even real snow.
The whole city shuts down.
Yeah, everything shuts down here, which is actually kind of fun. You know, the kids get a snow day. Yeah. So that could be a pro or a con, depending on where you're coming from. If you're coming from California, I would say that's the one thing you're giving up when you move here is that perfect weather. But I still see so many people calling us from California because of what you get here. Cost of living, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, well, so on the weather thing too, it's like my favorite part is I'm golfing in December, January, and where I see other people around the world where it's snowing and I'm out on a golf course. It's always nice. Cost of living, Texas in general is a lot cheaper than most states, and Katy down here, it's the same thing. So with Texas not having a state income tax, your paychecks are going to look a little nicer.
Yeah.
At least your take-home part of it.
Yeah.
The only main con, I would say, part of having the great school district, all these new home communities, you're going to have a lot of neighborhoods with higher property tax rates.
Yeah.
And most areas around the U.S. have property tax already, but ours is definitely a little higher than most states.
And just for reference point, so a high tax rate here in the Katy area would be what, 3.5 would be kind of on the higher side?
Yeah, there's a lot of neighborhoods, a lot of the new neighborhoods, not so much I think the highest one I know is about 369.
Yeah.
And the property tax rates usually go lower as your property
Value
increases. Yeah.
And then two, in these newer construction communities, the reason the taxes are higher is because a lot of times what they'll do is they'll have a municipal utility district that is a government entity. They build the infrastructure, and then the future homeowners pay for that infrastructure over time through taxes. Well, once all that's paid off and those bonds are paid off, your tax rate starts to go lower. So you're going to see, you might get as low as a 2% or a 1.9% tax rate in some of these 30-year-old neighborhoods because you're really just paying, a school tax, a hospital tax. And so yeah, the property taxes here, I would say the range is 2 to about 3.7, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
And then we also have sales tax here. It's 8.25% across the board. So if you go to Target, 8.25% on everything. But yeah, you don't have that state income tax.
Yep.
So,
but it is important with that property tax, with different tax rates in different neighborhoods. It's more important instead of setting yourself on a price budget of I have to stay under 500 or I have to stay under 700. It's more important really to get with a good lender and see what your actual monthly mortgage is going to be based on different houses. You can give them different houses in different neighborhoods and they can tell you their estimated monthly mortgage.
Yeah, because you could be looking at $600,000 houses, but your payment could be a $200, $300 difference depending on what your tax rate is. And
yeah,
so
when my wife and I were looking, we wanted to stay under 350 no matter what. And we put offers in on other houses in different neighborhoods, and we actually found a house in a lower tax rate that's a 20-year-old neighborhood, and we were able to go 50 or 60K over our budget, but still pay the same mortgage we were looking to pay.
Yeah, so there's tons of affordability here. The taxes can be a pro or a con depending on how you look at those. We hit on weather. There are bugs here. All the other videos on YouTube that you're going to look at hit on that, but there are mosquitoes here. It gets hot. We hit on traffic. What are some other pros of Katy? What really sets Katy apart?
So Katy, it's kind of a pro, kind of a con. Katy used to have a very small town feel.
Yeah.
I used to come up here every summer growing up, and there was nobody here really. There's just open fields, rice fields, and kids were out partying fields, and now all those fields have turned into master plan communities.
Yeah.
And so I find it funny. So I've had multiple clients reach out to me and say, yeah, I like Katy. I looked it up on Google, and it says the population's only 19,000 people, and which was a surprise to me. I'm like, Are you sure you're typing in the city right or spelling it right? And I actually looked it up, and yes, sure enough, if you Google the population of Katy, Texas, you're going to come up with a number right around 20,000 people. And that is, I think that's focused more so on like the downtown city of Katy area.
Yeah, it's gotta.
And I think a lot of the population's been put into like Fort Bend County and Harris County, because in 2015, Katy's population actually surpassed Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, with over 300,000 people, and we have more people moving here daily. It's got to be a lot higher than that now.
And you just touched on something I want to mention. So Katy is different than a lot of the other Houston suburbs. Yeah, it's split between 3 different counties. That's going to affect your taxes as well.
Yep.
So, we don't need to go into that too much. It doesn't play that big of a factor. But depending on what county you're in, you're going to have a local, municipal government that operates differently. So one con to Katy, in my opinion, especially whenever you're looking at all the Houston suburbs and comparing it possibly to the Woodlands. The Woodlands is obviously named the Woodlands. It's got trees everywhere. And so Katy does have trees, especially like we said in Cinco Ranch, but a lot of these newer neighborhoods, they either had trees and the developer knocked them all down to maximize how much money they could make in selling houses. It's unfortunate, but it's true. Or there weren't trees there to begin with, and it was like just farming fields, like you're saying, and the developer comes out and buys 2,000 acres of farmland and builds really this kind of utopia. And so, but that's a con to me. The pro to Katy though is with these newer homes, they're going to be more energy efficient. They're going to have, dual pane windows. They're going to have radiant barrier in the attics underneath the roof. So your electric bill, your energy bills are going to be a lot lower in these newer homes. And so even though you don't have the shade cover from the trees, which kind of helps the older homes in the woodlands out, they probably still function better than those homes that are covered with tree cover. So, and there are trees here. There's plenty of parks here in Katy. I would say out of all the suburbs, aside from the woodlands, Katy has a ton of parks that it offers. And then you're going to have parks in the neighborhoods as well that are developer-built parks. Most of those are newer, so it's nice. They're fancy. They got artificial turf or the rubber pellets. Not like back when I was a kid where you fall on concrete.
Yeah.
So.
And all these new master plan communities are putting in dog parks as well. So not only you get a house with a nice sized yard, but now you have a place that can be kind of social. You can bring your dogs, hang out with some of your neighbors, and get to meet
How many places around here are pet friendly?
Just in this area, Los Santera?
Well, just Katy in general. Is it pretty pet friendly?
Yeah, absolutely.
You can bring your dog to the brewery where we were at, where we shot the vlog video. But so overall, good place for pets too.
Great place for pets. Great place for kids. Great place for humans.
For humans. I think that covers a lot of it. Is there anything else you want to leave people with that they need to know about Katy? Because they're watching this video and they're leaning on you, saying, "Hey, should we go there?"
Absolutely. I would just say, if you're looking for a place to live where you can just have a nice sized house at a reasonable price in this market. I mean, the average price per square foot, I looked up the last 3 months of sales, the average price per square foot in the Katy area is like $160.
Which is, and it can get up higher, obviously, but that's pretty affordable for...
The whole Houston area in general is a lot lower than a lot of the surrounding big cities, especially when you consider Houston as the third biggest city in the U.S. But in general, Katy, you get everything you need. You have your amenities, you have your shopping, your restaurant. It's a great place to live. I love it.
Cool. Awesome. We're going to wrap it up, but I do want to tell you one more thing. If you are thinking of moving to the Katy area, give us that call, shoot us that text, send us that email. We will make your lives easier. We will set up a call immediately. We'll talk to you. We don't just try to put you in a house. We try to find you the right home, the right community, and we do that because our whole team are experts that actually live in these suburbs around Houston. We do this every single day, and we would love to help you guys make a smooth move to Katy. So that's all we got for you. Go check out our other videos, learn more about the Houston suburbs, and then give us that call.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.